Yeah. Pro Fan Sports Podcast. Let's get it. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam. Sean on the mic, very flat too. Keep you updated, that's what we do. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam.
Yo, what do everybody? It's your boy John Altidor with Pro Fan Sports Podcast. We're back at you with another one of my boys, Vlad and Barry, and back on the show. We thank you very much. It's Anna Horford. Welcome back to Pro Fan Sports. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I'm sure you got other things you could be doing, but you're here with us. You know, like the famous Jay-Z line. How's everything going in Michigan?
Yeah, it's good. It's snowy. It's cold. I'm over it. I'm ready for some sunshine, but you can't complain too much.
Yeah, I think here in Boston, we thought, I seen a meme earlier, that commercial, State Farm is like, you almost had it or whatever. You had like the fishing pole.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be quicker than that. It was talking about like the summer. We thought we were there, but we're not. So I think we're getting a snowstorm tomorrow. So, I haven't gone sledding. Maybe I'll go sledding. But again, thank you for getting on here. As always, we're here talking about, one of your favorite teams out there, probably your favorite team, the Celtics. How do you feel about the Celtics in this season so far?
Yeah, I feel like the C's for the most part have been pretty solid. And I like what I'm seeing as far as how we're playing together. Like I said, for the most part, we've had a couple rocky games here and there lately, but I think our guys, they're just working out the kinks. And I'm really proud of this group. They all really, really like each other, which is important. They have great chemistry. They really like the coach, which I think says a lot. And so, yeah, I think the C's are doing great.
Absolutely. We led the East for majority of the season, and now we're like a game and a half behind first. With a few games left. Obviously your brother plays on the team. How do you feel about, Allen, how his year has went on so far with the team?
Well, anytime I talk about Al, I feel like it's just always going to sound biased, but I feel like this year, so far, he's exceeded expectations. I think a lot of people thought, the playoffs last year were a fluke, and somehow they're still saying the same shit after 16 years of him being in the league. Like, oh, every year must be a fluke. So I think I'm really proud of him, especially considering his 3-point shooting, which has just been outrageous. And he's doing this at almost 37 years old. So I don't think you could really ask for more if you're the Celtics.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't he just like pass somebody on the Celtics all-time threes?
Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's eighth now in 3 points for the Celtics, which is pretty impressive. Anna,
that's crazy. Wow. I didn't know that.
Anna, what do you think of Joe Mazzulla and how he's handled the team so far, especially his way of, calling timeouts, the amount of minutes the guys plays, the fact that he's the new coach. How do you feel about him so far?
Yeah, I'm a really big fan of Joe. And I think that, if the guys trust him, if the team trusts him, then I trust him. And the team clearly trusts him. So I am Team Joe all the way. I think he's done really great this year, especially needing to step up into the role that he stepped into and coming off of, a finals run that is tremendous pressure. And I feel like he's handled it really gracefully, and that the guys genuinely like him, and that they all, work together really, really well. I think that says a lot. So yeah, I think he's done a really great job this year as far as, switching out starters, and I know people, talk about like, oh, when he chooses time to like call timeouts and stuff. I think he's really just like, I think he's just experimenting and seeing what works, which is what you're supposed to do as a coach. And I mean, look how well the Seas have done this year. So yeah, I think he's been doing great.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he certainly has, and he certainly deserved that, permanent, head coach position and the contract extension that he got. So he's certainly been doing a tremendous and outstanding job with this team. Now, I want to get a little bit more insight on Al Horford because I keep being amazed about how this guy is performing at this stage and point of his career at almost 37 years old, and he's still playing at a high level and got that contract extension, that 2-year extension earlier this season. How is he able to get himself to continue to be this consistent and play at a high level this late in his career and evolve his game to now being a knockdown 3-point shooter?
Yeah, I think the really big thing is that he's able to acclimate and he's able to, change with the times. So I think in his first season, he maybe shot a handful of threes, and now he's, draining almost half of his threes 16 years in. So just working on those things, changing with the game. That's a reason why he's been able to stay relevant. He also takes really good care of himself. He doesn't, go out and party. He looks after what he eats. He, does all the right things, and he's taught the younger guys on the team. And I know Jason and Jalen particularly have spoken out several times about how Al's helped them on their come up and just like learning from him. And I think that is so important to have that veteran leadership. So yeah, I mean, I think that's the main thing is just adapting with the game.
Absolutely.
Sure, definitely.
I think I've seen, Jason Tatum say that Al is his favorite teammate ever, which is great. And most recently I saw an article about Jason Tatum and how he's changed his diet, sleeping schedule. And I think, that has a lot to do with Al. And we were talking earlier on about, how some of these teams could use a veteran like Al, some teams that are in the headlines, we don't really need to talk about them too much, but I think Al he's been a fan favorite here. Al is the man in the city. You almost forget that Al started his career elsewhere. When it's all said and done, is it safe to say that, Al will be hanging them up with the Boston Celtics?
I think that's his absolute preference. And I think this year he might have even said that in an interview that he'd like to, end his career in Boston. Boston is like officially home for Al. So I think that, if he can choose, it's definitely going to be, Boston till the end. And it's good to hear that you guys feel like, he is like valued, because sometimes it's kind of hard to tell, just in general, like do people really, see what he does and like appreciates what he brings to the table and stuff. So it's like, it's really good to hear that, because all he wants to do is like bring a championship to the city.
I think knowledgeable fans understand what Al's value is to the team. And, if you're not an idiot, there's a lot of fair weather fans in Massachusetts, but I mean, the Celtics overall. And, I think they can jump the gun a little bit. And, I don't know. We've won so much here. They just like have no patience sometimes. And I think, sometimes that's a detriment. But, if you're a real fan of the team, Al's pretty much irreplaceable at this point.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I mean, we all want the Celtics to go deep in the playoff. Realistically, how far do you think they will go?
I am putting my money on the Celtics to go all the way. Like, we're going to the Eastern Conference Finals, we're going to the NBA Finals, and we're getting a championship. Like, we got a taste of it last season, and I don't think our guys are going to settle for anything less than that. I think we have the talent for it, and they have the drive. Now that they have, that finals experience under their belt, they're going to be so dangerous. Like, I think we have a great group of guys, and I think that it's ours for the taking at this point.
Nah,
Let's
I
hope,
certainly love
let's
to
hope
hear
so.
that. Yeah, no, I hope so too. Definitely, for sure. I'd love to celebrate being 18 and that Larry O'Brien trophy coming back to Boston where it belongs in June. That's, I think, what we all want to be celebrating, and want to see him be going to another parade. Once we win that championship, that's definitely the goal and what we want. To see the team do and the fans do as well, including us. Now, I just had another question as far as just any concerns that you may have regarding with this team, as of right now, moving forward, going into the playoffs, and anything that you may think could possibly keep them from, winning the championship and getting into the finals. Anything that you see that could keep that from happening?
I mean, I think the only thing that can stop the Celtics at this point is themselves. Any mental hurdle, I think, is going to be the biggest thing. But like I said, because they now have that finals experience, they've been on that stage, and so recently as well, I think that is going to help tremendously. Because, when you're going up against the Warriors, they've been there so many times, like talking about last year. And that experience is invaluable. Like, and sometimes you don't know how to handle it when it's your first time on that kind of stage and all the pressure and whatnot. We had some young guys and who had never been there. And so I think that this team knows how to learn from their mistakes. And I think that they'll come back mentally stronger this year.
Definitely, completely agree, for sure. I just had a follow-up question in regards to that. Is there any team in like the East or the West, if they get to the finals, that you would consider not a good matchup for the Celtics? Or do you really think that the Celtics, can match up and beat just about any team that is in either conference in the East or West?
I genuinely feel like the C's don't have to worry about anyone as much as they have to worry about us. We are versatile, we're deep, like our team, like I said, their chemistry is amazing. They play really well together, and when everyone's mental game is on point and sharp, like, it's ours. So I don't really see anyone. Obviously there's some amazing teams this year. I mean, the Bucks are going to be a huge challenge. And there are a couple other teams. I wouldn't necessarily, I know some people are going to say like, oh, Philly and whatever. I'm not worried about them. Like, I'm just not. And so I know that kind of sounds cocky, but I believe in our guys, and I think that I think that they're going to go all the way.
I'm with you on that, for sure.
I like the sound of that.
Me too.
So obviously we're in the East, and we're number 2 right now, gunning for number 1. If the playoffs were going to start today, I wanted to know, who would you rather face right now? The Miami Heat or the New York Knicks?
So I think that we're more than capable of taking either team on. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm worried in a a series of 7 about either team, because I'm not. Like, I obviously, we're probably not gonna be sweeping these teams, but we had such a tough run in the playoffs last year, and we still got to the finals. Everyone was like, oh shit, you guys got to go through Miami, you got to go through Milwaukee, you're never gonna make it. and we ended up sweeping Brooklyn as well. So like, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure people have their preferences. I think for some reason the Knicks have really, they've been like agitating to the Celtics this year. Like they know how to like kind of get under the C's skin, but at the same time, with how many times, we've played them and will have played them by the time playoffs come around, you can adjust and you can adapt and you can, figure out what wasn't working before, make those adjustments, and I think we'll be fine.
You think we should probably think about, I mean, another roster spot? Like, do you think we should be adding anybody, or you think this team is good as is right now?
I mean, I think this team is more than capable, but at the same time, like it just depends. So it's going to be nice to say like, oh yeah, if all our shots are falling, we're going to be good to go. But you never know how those things are going to play out. Like the team right now is more than capable. And, we've got such a great defender in Marcus. Tatum's proven that he's a leader. Like Al is like the solid veteran. I think that all of our guys bring something really unique to the table. And when you put it all together, that's what makes a great championship team. So I think we're going to be good as is. I know some people probably want maybe a sharpshooter or something like that. But I mean, see what we've done already this season. I think we're going to be just fine.
Yeah, let's hope so. I definitely want this team to go far and deep and bring the championship back. They've lost too many games for me in a row sometimes. I know at some point earlier the year they lost like 5 games in a row, and then earlier they lost 3 games in a row. So, but I'm hoping we can turn things around and make a pretty strong push in the playoffs. And I was looking at your Twitter page, and I saw that you're pretty involved in justice and social issues, and you put out a very nice video for Women's Day, and I also know that you're Dominican and I'm Haitian. John is Haitian. So I had a question for you around Dominican and Haitian relations, and there's it's always in the news. It's always something that I care about, and there's a strong hate, I would say, from Dominicans toward Haitians. And what's your message to Dominicans that are hating Haitians, that are mistreating Haitians?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that is always really, really bothered me about certain aspects of Dominican culture, because we come from the same island. And, Haitians are our brothers and sisters. The families are mixed, like it is the same place, and,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of colorism, which is a major issue. Dominicans think that they're better because, they vary in skin color, and it's basically just colonizer bullshit. Like, we're one family, one island, like, and so, and it also bugs me because most Dominicans, I think, would say that the DR is a Christian nation, but oftentimes their actions and the way they speak about Haitians don't reflect anything about Christian values or Christianity or God. So I think there's a lot of hypocrisy coming from the Dominican side, and you see people like my dad and Big Papi who are dark skinned. Like that's because, we all share the same blood. Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that it's just nonsensical. I think it's ridiculous. I think that there's a lot more room for love out there, and Dominicans need to get off their high horse and realize, we're the same people.
Yeah. And I feel also sometimes it's a question of like education, right? Like knowing that we're the same, and not only that we live on the same island, but we're all brought here on the slave ship, and I mean it's kind of sick, and that colorism part plays a really big role into it, though. A really big role.
Absolutely. And even, I mean, Dominicans, we have a long way to go. Like if my dad and Big Papi weren't famous, they wouldn't get treated well in the Dominican, and I think that's something that celebrities and people in power need to acknowledge. Like like there is, privilege in being like famous and stuff. But if those guys weren't famous, they wouldn't get treated well. And that's just the truth. And it's despicable. There's no excuse for it. It's 2023, like leave the colonizer stuff like in the past, and we need to move forward together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, completely agree.
Sure.
Thank you for speaking on that.
Yeah, that's definitely well said. Like Vlad, we all follow you on on Twitter. I think you're really entertaining, and I see all the back and forth with the haters and stuff like that. But still, you're very vocal about a lot. A lot of issues actually. And you've used your platform beautifully to actually use what you've earned, what you've grown, to put your voice out there, with all the hate and back and forth you get from strangers. What gives you the strength to keep going?
I think I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I stood by and said nothing when, like the worst people in the world aren't necessarily those that commit atrocities. It's those that sit back and watch bad things happen and they do nothing. And that's just not how I was brought up at all. My mom particularly like really instilled in us that you stand up for people, you stand up for marginalized people, you stand up for yourself. You stand up for strangers, you stand up for people that you love, which is why I'm so protective of my siblings and Al. I feel like it's the right thing to do. And so the decision is easy for me. I like what people think about me is none of my business. And that doesn't mean I'm going to stop talking about these things because it's crucial. And I wish that more people did.
Yeah. Well, thank you for always speaking up.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, no, this stuff is definitely important. I knew you were putting out your own podcast. I was checking it out. I feel like I haven't seen any new episodes, any news around that.
Yeah, so I've been holding off on my next season just because I had a few other things in the works that I can't really talk about yet. But yeah, there is going to be, I think it's probably going to be my last season of the Horford Happy Hour. But yeah, keep an eye out for that. Probably a bit closer to summer. I'll launch it. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on in my life, and it's a big commitment. But yeah, I look forward to podcasting again because that's another really great way to obviously get the word out about issues that need to be talked about.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Nah, for sure. It's certainly great that you're gonna start that podcast up soon. Definitely looking forward to hearing that once you start recording episodes, and we'll certainly be following it once you start putting new content out. Now wanted to ask you, I know this happened a little bit ago and me and the fellas talked about it last week, but kind of just wanted to get your thoughts and perspective on it. What do you think about the John Morant situation and and everything that happened and transpired that night?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing about Ja is that he clearly needs to work on his inner circle and surround himself with people who have his best interests and people who are going to call him out on his bullshit and help him stay the course and stay on a good path, because he has so many opportunities that millions of people would kill to have. And it's such a shame to see, so much negativity surrounding someone who's so talented and has so much potential. And I had even told a few people, I mean, that's another reason why having great leadership on a team matters. That's the reason why, coaches and GMs love Al. They know that he's going to keep the younger guys in line. And I think I told one of the guys, before we started that, like, if it were the Celtics, there's no way, our young guys would be getting away with that with Al on the team. Like, he'd be pulling them to the side, giving him a stern, like, dad talk. Like, this is the way you need to live your life, and we need to be grateful for these opportunities and these moments, and we can't throw it away just doing, dumb stuff. So yeah, I hope that he, is just working on himself, and he'll come back better than ever, because we all want to see him succeed. You never want to see someone go down this path. So yeah, I definitely wish him well, and I hope he starts surrounding himself with a better inner circle.
No, for sure. Absolutely. No, I totally agree. Definitely, you gotta keep your circle small, and just be careful of of the company that you keep around you, and make sure that you're always keeping good people around you. Now, I'd just like to make one request. If the Celtics win the championship obviously they're in Boston, but if they win the championship this year, the finals, would we, and if you come to Boston to celebrate, would we be able to, possibly work something out and arrange something and celebrate together if we get Banner 18 this year?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm taking shots with everybody. We are we're gonna be out like all week.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
We are gonna turn up. Like, it's gonna be.
You already know. Turn the fuck up. You already know. Absolutely. We'll be lit for sure. All day, all night. So, definitely looking forward to that, and really hope that happens. I feel pretty good about the chances of that happening, but if they certainly do, there'll be a whole lot of drinking and celebrating and partying once that happens, for sure. And certainly would love to celebrate with you. So we greatly appreciate that. You'd be more than happy to celebrate with us if our Celtics win the championship this year.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, Anna, it's been a pleasure having you on. I told you it wasn't going to be rocket science, and thank you for answering our questions. I thought you answered those things beautifully. You're always welcome on the show, and hopefully, the winner, finds a way out of town, in Michigan. So just like we're looking forward to it being gone here as well. So once again, thank you for coming on Pro Fan Sports Podcast for a second time. You're always welcome, and you have a good night.
Thank you guys so much. So good talking to you. We're gonna get this fucking banner.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, right now we'll get that celebration too. Absolutely. And
Hell
live
yeah.
that funny lifestyle.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, have a good night.
Thank you, and I appreciate it. Thanks for your time. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too. If it lets me leave. Now you guys are stuck with me now. No. Thank you guys.
That's not a bad thing. I don't want to.
Bye.
That's not a bad thing. Bye. Have a good night.
Yeah. That was Anna Horford. If you guys weren't listening, that's Al Horford's sister, who's very knowledgeable about the game and comes on the show and chops it up with us every now and then. Again, thank you to her. If you guys want to follow her on Twitter, she's pretty popular on there. It's at Anna Horford. Make sure you guys give her a follow. Pretty entertaining stuff going on her platform. But make sure you guys are following us as well. You can get all that info. We're at Pro Fan Sports on everything except for Instagram. That's at ProFans_sports. We drop every single week. If you're listening, make sure you pressing that black button at the bottom of the video to subscribe. That's the best way to support us. And make sure you're following us, like I said. Until next episode, man. We out of here.
Peace out, everyone. Have a good week. See y'all next week. Thanks for